So The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was released a few days ago, and I've been playing it. A lot. 33 hours into my playthrough, I come across this Goron named Strahd hanging out on a hill right behind the Colosseum, north of the Great Plateau. He shows off a bell tower that he made, and he offers to let you play a game where the goal is to use whatever materials are lying around, plus whatever you have in your inventory, to smack that bell as hard as you can. Me, being an engineer, decided this game was how I would spend the rest of my life, and this video is the story of how that went. Before we get into it, if you'd like this video, consider subscribing and checking out my live stream at twitch.tv/DannyB, where I'm streaming this game a ton, and also doing other stuff like Ocarina of Time speedruns. So the game costs 30 rupees to try, and the Goron provides a bunch of Zonai devices and other random objects to work with. I decided to just grab whatever things were lying around that looked like they had some vertical element to them, but mostly I just wanted to explode some stuff. Alright, this is gonna be fun. Let's see. What the heck is that? This is a springboard on top of underneath a couple cherry bombs, underneath a rocket, underneath a metal barrel, which is gonna ring that bell as loud as I possibly can, which is my current objective. That sucked. Yeah, that sucked. The barrel didn't even actually hit the bell. It was the delayed explosion of the Zonai bombs that barely tapped it. But I got my first taste of getting rated on Strahd's Mega Ding scale. I got a 25 on this one, no prize, and a vote of confidence that I could definitely do better. So I gave it another shot. Next on my list of ideas was using a different kind of Zonai device called a stabilizer. These things are weighted half domes that lay flat and then automatically right themselves when you turn them on. I figured if I attached a long arm to it, I could create a sort of hammer that swings upward at the bell and gets in a solid smack. After messing with that idea for a little bit, it seemed like it didn't have quite the upward swing momentum that I wanted, so I built a little launch pad and attached a rocket to the end to provide some extra angular momentum. Let's see how it goes. Alright, that is so perfectly lined up. This is it. This is the one. This is going to be amazing. Here we go. I have no idea if that was good or not. I got 25 before. Alright, 58. Okay, better. That was better. But now I noticed this tip Strahd was giving me. He said the trick to really ring it is to throw something real heavy, real fast. So I did some testing to see what the heaviest object around was, and it seemed like the answer was the metal boulder by far. So I strapped a couple rockets to it, had a little bit of trouble getting the orientation right on the irregular surface. Bring it over here. Now let's see what happens, yeah? No, I fucking missed! That thing went super fast, super far though. It seemed promising. So I reorganized a little. I put the rockets on a nice flat metal plate, I attached the boulder to it too, I added a little launch pad for balance, and now I had created a small rocket launch tower with a boulder as my payload. We are directly underneath. Let's see it go. Alright, that felt pretty good. How'd I do? 58 last time, and this time 87. Okay, alright, good. We're making progress here. We upgraded from a topaz to an opal as our prize, but there's still room to improve according to Mr. Goron. I decided to take a little break here from rocket science and go back to a much better version of my first idea. One thing you learn about springboards early on is that stacking them makes them stronger, and now that I know the boulder is the thing to use instead of that little barrel, I figured I'd see how this... Friendship ended with springboards. Catapults are my new best friend. This sure is an idea. Are you guys ready? Have we aimed properly? How we looking? Oh, it's looking good. It's looking real good. What the oh, it's another falling rock. Okay. All right, here we go. There's no shot this works. It fucking shattered, dude. Oh, it all went flying. Turns out the joints created by the green Ultra Hand glue have a breaking point, and the game is doing physics calculations at each of them to see if there's too much force to stay stuck together. That boulder sure is heavy. Oh! Oh, shit! I didn't mean to do that. How was that, though? 91! Okay, better. Better, but still just an opal as my prize. So I was thinking maybe the boulder plus the catapult head was too heavy together. So I would try this time with just the boulder. We are trying it. Okay, one more time, but this time with joints reinforced with logs. Alright, here we go. This is it. I sent the fucking thing into outer space, dude. It flew into outer space, and I just smacked this with the wood. Turns out it wasn't quite in outer space. What? What was that? It came back down. Dude, it came back down. What? And so the beginnings of an amazing idea were born. But first, I had to try one more catapult with better joints this time. Well, it stayed together! Not a good attempt for this minigame, but seems like a good bit of science to highlight anyway. Physics intuition held true here. If you build your joints so that they compress in the direction of the force that strains them, they'll be much stronger. Let's go for one more try with that concept, tweaked a little. Oh, that was so loud. Today I learned what that bell is capable of. And 104. We get our third tier prize here with a topaz and our first run above 100. But you can go even louder. No! What? You can go even louder. What the fuck? Oh my god. It's still bad. It wasn't good at all. Alright, we gotta do something different. We gotta come up with something so smart, so strong, that this bell shatters into a million pieces. And then I remembered that thing from before where the boulder fell after the game was over. Alright. New plan entirely. Here's my new plan. My new plan is we are going to launch it straight up in the air, and then we're gonna come down on it. We're just gonna let gravity do the trick. Gravity is stronger than we are, folks. Turns out I was super right about that fact. So I set up a little raised launch pad holding a square platform attached to a boulder and 4 rockets and a little fan on the back. The whole setup was intentionally not directly underneath the bell, so that we could go straight up with it and have the fan nudge it forward so it would come down directly on top. But then after a few seconds, the Goron yelled at me for leaving the game area and called me back down. But what I learned is that if you choose to stay in the game, Link's position resets, but any objects currently in motion do not. This one missed the bell. It was pretty ambitious to think it would work so perfectly, but I learned a lot from this attempt, and this was the beginning of the end. On this next one, I stayed on the ground myself and added a little counterweight to the launch pad so the whole thing would be stable during liftoff. I also learned I didn't need the fan at all, but instead I could shift the boulder slightly forward instead of perfectly centered, and the off-balance weight would tip the whole thing ever so slightly forward during flight, sending it above the bell. But this was way too hard to calibrate to perfectly land on the bell. I needed a way to control the horizontal motion myself. I remembered a few hours earlier discovering that using recall on a moving object totally resets the momentum that object had when recall ends. So okay. I fucking win the game, dude. I win. I didn't even need for it to arc that hard. That was a sound explosion! Yes! For all it's worth. 136. Okay. A ruby. He's gonna say, there's a diamond. I know there's a diamond. Oh, that's it. He didn't say that you could do it better. I win, dude! Oh my god. So that's it. A 136, a sound explosion, and a ruby. The Goron didn't say you could do it better, so I didn't try. I was happy with that score after 2 hours and 15 minutes of doing nothing but this minigame. I played a bunch more Tears of the Kingdom, went to sleep, and then I had a dream about how to do it better. This morning, I woke up and I went to work. The plan this time was to figure out how to drop the rock on the bell from even higher up. I remembered how Link could ride the rocket ship up for a while before being called back down, so maybe I could do something useful in that time. What if I leave the boulder off the ship, hit the ignition, and then use Ultra Hand to carry the boulder up for free with me without it being a burden on the thrust? Then I could maneuver it to be directly over the bell so that after I got called back down, it would fall with no horizontal momentum to mess it up. Straight shot, straight down. Work? A 139. Only marginally better than last time, but I was convinced this idea had more merit. This was it. The final attempt. I had a couple extra ideas to squeeze every last decibel I could out of this bell. First off, how about 2 boulders? More weight means more sound, right? Next, if I arrange the ship so that it only just barely skims the bell on the way up, then I could attach both boulders to the front of the ship before I get called down by the Goron. Then the boulders could raise up even further with the last of the rocket momentum while I'm on the ground, and add their weight to the ship body when they land on the bell. It was a tricky maneuver, and here is how that went. Okay, we got it. Now let's say keep trying, and we're gonna teleport back to the bottom while this thing comes down from the sky. And what do we get? 162, a huge improvement. Seems like a pretty damn good score, and I really don't have any ideas about how to do much better. But this game has only been out for 4 days, so I'm sure we're going to see tons of crazy tech coming out of these intricate systems sooner rather than later. Were you able to beat my score? Let me know how in the comments if so. And thanks a lot for watching, and once again consider subscribing here and checking out my live stream at twitch.tv/DannyB for more Zelda content. See ya!